Hey everyone, I'm Big John, and welcome to another episode of the Diz Ability Show live. This week, coming to you from my grandparents' house in Connecticut. Alright, so Easter is right around the corner, and I want to talk about some great Easter tips. Now, a lot of people don't know that Disney does actually celebrate Easter. And we have done it a couple times now, and it's a lot of and it's very fun. Now I know that for the little ones, a lot of the resorts will have Easter egg hunts. Epcot has their egg extravaganza egg scavenger hunt around the World Showcase. The Grand Floridian, the Contemporary, and the Yacht and Beach Club resorts have awesome Easter egg displays made by their respected baking teams. And of course, at the Magic Kingdom, I don't want to say they go all out, but they do some great stuff. Like they have Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny meeting, which by the way were are Mr. and Mrs. by the way were made from the old how the White Rabbit used to have his design as, and of course the Easter pre-parade. So if you go to Disney on Easter, I guarantee you will have a very hoppy time. See what I did there? And that was a terrible pun that is intended. So anyway, that's my tip. As always, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live, or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. And now it's time for this week's Top 5. So, sticking with the topic of Easter, this week we're going to cover my top 5 Easter things at Disney. Now, some of these I have just mentioned during the main tip, but number 5, Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny. Now, as I said, their designs are based on how the White Rabbit used to appear in the parks, as in the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. And I think it fits more them, and it's fun because of course of course on Easter they almost get as much attention as Santa. But it's very fun. They're great characters, and they're a real treat to see on Easter Sunday. Number 4, the Epcot Easter egg scavenger hunt. As I mentioned, the egg extravaganza hunt is what they do in addition to their Spike the Bee scavenger hunt right now during Flower and Garden. In addition to that, for Easter time, they have hidden different eggs around the park, around World Showcase, and this year the egg represents different rabbit characters from Disney films, like Judy Hopps, Rabbit, White Rabbit, the March Hare, Thumper, Mrs. Thumper. I'm sure there's more. Disney doesn't have a lot of rabbit characters. Well, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, but other than those. Number 3, the Azalea Trail Maids. Now, once upon a time before the pandemic, the on as part of Easter Sunday at the Magic Kingdom, they would have these beautiful ladies wearing these extravagant, colorful floral costumes, and you would see them everywhere on Main Street. Sadly, I don't think sadly Disney doesn't have that anymore, at least not that I saw when we were there for Easter 3 years ago. But Disney, I am hoping that you bring the trail maids back in the future. I really do. Number 2, the Easter eggs at the hotels, as I previously said. So during Easter time, uh, the Grand Floridian, the Contemporary, and the Yacht and Beach Club resorts, their baking teams bake these amazing Easter eggs with extravagant themes, especially at the Grand Floridian, which we'll talk more about the Grand Floridian later in the show. But the eggs are, shall I say, egg exquisite. Again, a terrible pun, but it is intended. And my number one Easter thing at Disney, the Easter pre-parade. Now, on Easter, before the Festival of Fantasy parade, they do this little pre-parade, which used to be like a full-length parade. It will feature like Clara Cluck on top of her barn, the same float that they have for Boo to You, and they'll have Daisy in her trailmate outfit, bunch of people doing a springtime hoedown, and all the rabbit characters on a float. Again, Disney doesn't have a lot of rabbit characters. And of course, ending the pre-parade is Mr. and Mrs. Easter Bunny. So it is a fun thing. I wish it was a full parade, but I'm glad they do a little something for the holiday. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you've ever been to Disney on Easter, and if so, what your favorite thing is. And now it's time for Diz or Dat. Now this week's Diz or Dat goes out to my buddies, the Dapper Dans. Now on both coasts, the Dapper Dans are, without a doubt, the finest barbershop quartet in a 2-block radius. At Disneyland, they're usually in the tenor, lead, bass, baritone order, in which the tenor wears orange, lead wears purple, bass wears red, and baritone wears blue. Except during like Halloween and Christmas time when they wear like matching outfits. And at the Magic Kingdom, their order is baritone, bass, lead, tenor. And they used to have different colors for depending on the singer, but now all their outfits are identical as well. And they have their new regular outfits, which are blue with green, white, purple, blue, and orange stripes. And of course, the outfits change depending on the seasons. Of course, now during spring, they wear those awesome pink and blue outfits that we saw last year. And if you've seen my videos, you know how much we like the Dapper Dans. So let me know in the chat or in the comments which coast you think has the most dapper of Dans. Diz, Disneyland, or Dat, the Magic Kingdom. And now it's trivia time. Alright, so last week we asked Who composed the music for Toy Story? The correct answer was Randy Newman. Congratulations if you knew the answer. And now here is this week's trivia time question. Now this is going to be a bit of a trick question, so because of how the part how because how much this answer has changed over the years. But here it is. What are the mountain peaks of the Magic Kingdom? I be the first one in the chat or in the comments with the correct answer, and you will receive 100 cool points. All right, so earlier this week, Disney has revealed some concept art for refurbishment of the Grand Floridian lobby, which is set to start on Monday. Now, I think the good news about this is that they're keeping the piano. That is the one good thing that I think is coming out of this. Well, that, and I think if that little open bar too, if you're into that. But the bad news is because this refurbishment will be going on for the rest of the year, Disney did sadly make the announcement that there will be no gingerbread house to be displayed this coming Christmas season. I mean, the only other time they didn't have the gingerbread house during its time was like during the pandemic. But I'm a little sad about that. Yao is right, CJ. I'm a little sad about that because it's one of the things that bring people to the Grand Floridian during Christmas time. I mean, what else are you gonna have? But still, I am looking forward. Thank you, CJ. But I am looking forward to seeing how this refurbishment plays out. I'm glad they're keeping the piano because that is perhaps the thing that keeps drawing people to the lobby year round. So we'll just wait and see what happens as we see this refurbishment unfold. So anyway, that's our show. As I said, if you have any questions on how to do Disney for people with disabilities, let me know in the chat if you're watching this live or in the comments if you're watching this later, and I'll make sure it gets into a future episode. For this week's shoutouts, make sure you guys check out Jessica and Lewis. They were in California last month to attend and a screening of Snow White. Of course, I don't know who really wanted to do that. But make sure you check out their channel, One Little Spark JL. And, of course, on their Instagram at Jessica and Lewis. Also, make sure you guys check out Micah Barnaby's channel, World of Micah. He does great vlogs from the parks all the time. Definitely check him out. Also, make sure you guys check out Samantha Lowe. She's been doing some concert streams for Garden Rocks. And she just did the Springtime Run Disney weekend last weekend. So definitely check her channel out and congratulate her on that. Also, make sure you guys check out Princess and the Bear. They do great food vlogs from the parks all the time. Definitely check them out as well. If you haven't subscribed here yet to the Big John Network, what in the Walt Disney World are you waiting for? And ding the bell for notifications so you never miss a second of the fun. And until next time, may the mouse be with you.